I will not get out of bed on Christmas morning until I have smoked a full cigar.
Oh. What age did this start?
About 33.
What made you start?
Well, when I was giving up smoking, I smoked those thin cigars, so I thought, well, that's not really smoking. And then when I properly gave up smoking, I thought this should just be... It was a Christmas and birthday treat.
How long does it take you to smoke the cigar?
About 6 months. And then start on the birthday one. Always got one on the go, but great to have given up smoking.
Do you smoke the whole cigar?
Smoke the whole cigar.
And how long does that take?
A couple of hours.
That's a lot of puffing.
You're still in bed?
Still in bed.
So you have the cigar ready the night before, in the little match and everything, you're ready to go?
No, we have stockings in the morning, so we all then huddle around my bed.
Oh, so the family and the friends have to come to you, to the base of the bed, and then no present opening till it's finished.
Have you by now slipped into the Christmas onesie, or are you still in your negligee?
Negligee.
Yeah, we're all imagining, because there's nothing more arousing than a woman lying down and smoking a big fat cigar.
Yeah, exactly.
I prefer a woodbine girl myself.
Merry Christmas, Lee. Can't get out of bed till this is finished.
So what are you going to say, then?
What do we think, Barry?
I've got a 100% wrong record on this current
It's time for a change,
It's
Barry.
time for a change.
Whatever you say, we're going with.
I think it's true.
In fact, it's a
You
lie.
think it's true? Is that what you're saying, Lee?
No, opposite no. What do you think?
I think it's true.
Oh, you think it's true?
Yeah.
You both say true.
I'm going to say true.
Well, I'll go with my team and say it's true.
You say it's true. OK, Miranda, the cigar, Christmas morning, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, it's a lie. Miranda does not smoke a full cigar before she gets out of bed on Christmas morning. So please welcome this week's special guests, Robert and Will. So, Claire, what are Robert and Will to you?
This is Robert and Will. They do my garden, and to avoid the embarrassment of me ever getting them mixed up, I call them both Barry.
OK. Lee, how do you know Robert and Will?
This is Robert and Will. I once used them to convince an audience I could teleport people.
And finally, Miranda, your relationship with Robert and Will?
This is Robert and Will. I was a judge at the Identical Twins of the Year award, and they came third, but we had to disqualify them because it turns out they were two of triplets.
Wow. There we have it. So, Claire's green-fingered Barrys, Lee's teleporting twosome, or Miranda's cheating triplets. David, where'd you begin?
Explain the rationale behind the Identical Twins of the Year awards.
Well, I have to say, when I was asked to come along and judge, I was a little confused, but I think there's a sort of magazine or trade magazine, or it's part, or there was some...
A trade magazine? What's the trade?
Twins!
For the marketing of twins.
Twins.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've actually heard of the competition, yes. There is a competition to do
There
with
are.
twins.
What do they have to do in the competition?
Well, there's the physical look-alike thing, like how much they look alike.
Okay. Right.
And then they also do kind of games like Mr. and Mrs. type games, so it's a personality thing as well.
How did they do? Did they win, or...?
No, they came third, but they were then disqualified.
What? Oh, because of the triplets thing?
Yeah. And we did see a third, but I didn't see it, but apparently there's a third one.
So the triplet turned up to this event?
Yes!
That's not exactly Moscow rules, is it?
The third one was picking them up to take them home. And was seen.
Claire, Robert and Will are your gardeners, and you call them both Barry. Isn't that a bit of sort of an affront to their individuality?
No, because the first time I did it, I said, would you like a cup of tea, Barry, love? And as soon as you put love on the end of it, they're fine with it. They just smiled and had a cup of tea, and they were fine. And do you know, a lot of... when sound engineers work a lot on outside broadcasts, they all call each other Percy. They all call each other Purse, and so they call me Purse as well, and I call them Purse, and I called them Barry.
Yeah. Why?
Because they work with so many different people, they can't actually remember everyone's names.
Are you sure they're not trying to mug you?
Purse! Purse!
Those nails, they're very clean for gardeners, aren't they?
Well, I hope they've had a bath before they've come tonight.
No, but they are pristine, beautiful, soft hands. I'm not coming on to you.
Richard, if you want to go and have a look, you can.
Thank you very much. I'd love to do that.
You're not allowed to touch, but you can look.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a look, Dale? Would you like to
Not
get up close?
particularly.
Really?
I will go on then.
I'm now not as attracted to these hands as I once was. There's actually some dirt under the nails.
All right. Don't touch, Dale. Just
Could
look.
you turn them over?
I feel I should have a look as well. Or it'll look unconscientious.
This here looks like it actually. That could be the remnants of soil.
They're not very big, so...
You know what your gardener's hands look like?
I don't know.
Unlike everyone else here, apparently, I don't have a gardener. I know you probably expect I'd have about 9.
What did you think of what you saw there, Richard? How did the hands rate for you?
That's actually really thrown me a little bit now, and I sort of slightly regret going over there, to be honest.
What did they look like?
Well, from this distance, they're beautiful, pristine, manicured hands, and actually close up, there's some dirt under the nails.
I hope to God these poor fellas are gardeners.
They're
not, by the way.
Lee.
Yeah.
Now,
You're going to bother going through this one, are you?
what was this particular show? You were trying to pretend to the audience that you were able to teleport people.
Correct.
Was it a stage show or TV show?
Was it a stage show or a TV show?
Oh, that's funny. Are you an interpreter of Dale?
I thought you'd said it. I'd missed it, so I was asking my team captain.
So what's your friend saying, David?
What was it? A stage show or a TV show?
OK. It was a stage show.
And where was it on?
It was on at the Hackney Empire.
And when was it on?
It was on in the mid-90s.
And what was it called?
It was a new act competition for new people, and I thought, I'll do a magic trick because it'll impress everyone.
Yeah, make up for the comedy. What you say at the end? I'm sorry, everyone, but I can't teleport.
Talk me through the act. What did you do?
Good. Magic circle, love. Magic circle.
Right.
Can't tell you anything.
You don't have to tell us.
So, what's the illusion we're supposed to be seeing?
So I'm not going to tell you how much it's a magic circle. You're not going to say how you made it look as if you teleported.
Oh, no.
Oh, I see. You're very wise. We'll never...
I'm not giving away my secrets on television.
So go on, Lee. What did you do? You're there on the stage. The audience are enwrapped.
So I come on and I bring someone out of the audience and then I put them in a box at one side of the stage, or in a cupboard, actually. I put them in a cupboard. And then I do a bit of the showbiz magic.
Yeah.
Said a few words, not remember now. Might have been Alakazam. And then do the side, and then I open up a box, and out comes the first person who's gone in. Out the other. Well, it looks like that.
Yeah.
But clearly he's already in the box. And he sits down, and the audience give me a big round of applause. So that's actually quite good. And he goes and sits down in the seat.
So you've done the teleport thing. Then what do you do?
Straight into the levitation. I'm not an idiot.
Actually, as a technique for a magic trick and trying to make it look as though someone's magicked across the room, it's actually quite clever using identical twins.
Do you still do it in the act,
Don't tell me, tell the judges that night.
How did you do?
Awful. Came third. Turns out I was a triplet.
Right, we need an answer. So, David's team. Are Robert and Will Claire's green-fingered Barrys, Lee's teleporting twosome, or Miranda's cheating triplets?
What do you think, Dale?
I think it's Lee. I think he's telling the truth.
OK, Richard, what about you?
I don't believe Lee, and they had a bit of soil on their hands. I think the gardeners.
David, what about you?
I don't think Lee did a random magic trick at the beginning of his tryout spot at the Hackney Empire in 1995. Maybe he did, but I don't believe it. So I think I agree with Richard. I think it's Claire.
You think it's Claire?
Yeah.
OK, here we go. Robert and Will, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Robert. I'm Will, and Lee tried to convince an audience that he could teleport.
Yes, Lee used Robert and Will to convince an audience he could teleport someone. Thank you very much, Robert and Will.
I once embarrassed myself in front of the local vicar at Christmas.
Is that it?
Vague, isn't it?
Is that all we're getting?
Well, no, we can get more. What happened?
Well, it was Christmas, and the vicar had to come round to my aunt and uncle's, where I was having Christmas, the sort of drinks, I think. I went to sit next to him and sat on the edge of a sofa. And as I sort of sat back like that, I broke enormous wind.
And did he say anything?
He sort of... It's here! No, I don't think he did, which is what made it so funny for me.
Why did you go over to sit next to the vicar to start with?
Because I think my sister was there, and I thought, oh no, she's been lumbered with the vicar. And I thought, oh, she might need some conversational help. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Which I sort of provided.
What direction was the vicar at this point?
I don't know if he was down or upwind, but he was involved.
Miranda.
I mean, he can...
You saw his hair move.
I think actually what I did was...
That is a great image.
I think I burst out laughing, did one of those laugh spits.
Laugh spits? So having farted at the man, you then spat on him?
You know when you go...
I did.
So it was like...
So what do you think, David? What are you going to say?
Miranda, the way you told the story at the beginning, I couldn't work out. You had a lot of pauses in there. Was that for effect, or were you thinking it up as you went along? And I think probably worth it, making it up as you went along. So I think it's probably a lie.
Dale, what do you think?
Miranda is like one of those fabulous people in the world who's uninhibited with no... Am I right? You're kind of like, oh, what the heck, I don't
My
care.
face is a mask.
So you think it's true, you think it's a lie?
Yeah.
I'll say I think it's true.
You think it's true? OK, Miranda. True?
It is actually true.
Yes, it's true. Miranda did embarrass herself in front of the local vicar.
Last year, whilst house-sitting for friends, I had to shout for help for 2 hours when I got stuck in their children's Wendy house.
David, what do you think of that?
Right, so where was the Wendy house?
In their garden.
Was there bait in the Wendy house?
There was cake and I had to have it. No, I actually thought this looks fun. I'm going to go and have a little look.
You were supposed to be looking after the children?
No, I was house-sitting.
Oh, you're house-sitting,
yes.
right?
The Wendy house specifically, or the actual house?
The actual house.
Oh, the actual house.
What was it made of?
Wooden structure.
It was a shed. A wooden structure in a garden is called a shed, not a Wendy house.
It was smaller than a shed. It was a little house made of wood.
So it looks very inviting. You open a little door, crawl in, then what happens?
Then I shut the door and think, oh, this will be fun.
Right.
I know I'm coming across a bit weird now. I go to the little door and there's one of those latchy things which doesn't work. And then, so I think, well, I'll just push it. And you see, it got stuck to the concrete on the bottom.
Right.
And I could not push it.
Well, that's quite sad.
So it was...
It was a very...
You're like a very posh Chilean miner.
So you shouted for 2 hours?
Yeah.
What did you shout?
Help me!
I think she shouted. Recipes?
Who saved you in the end?
The neighbours.
And how did they manage to open the door?
They got a little saw and sawed around the latchy bit.
How? It's an episode of Tom and Jerry.
How do you do that? How do you get a saw in there?
It was one of those ones.
Jigsaw.
Yeah,
that's a jigsaw.
Okay. So it has a thing that initially penetrates and then cuts laterally.
There is...
Jigsaw. Have you ever thought of advertising for B&Q? You'd be the perfect voice. Are you looking for something that does that, then penetrates laterally? B&Q.
Which way are you leaning on this?
So are we leaning towards a lie?
Yeah, but I slightly wanted it to be true because I think it's a funny image of Miranda being stuck screaming in a Wendy house.
I'm not buying it, I'm afraid.
Let's say it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie. OK, Miranda, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Very well, though.
So please welcome this week's special guest, Zazie. So, Miranda, we'll start with you. How do you know Zazie?
This is Zazie, and we once had a trial together for a professional ladies' football team, but we didn't make the grade.
There we are, Miranda's footballing friend. Lee, how do you know Zazie?
This is Zazie. I once cut off her ponytail on the school bus, thinking she was my mate Paul.
Right, Lee's short-haired schoolmate. Nick, what's your relationship with Zazie?
Zazie, my neighbour's daughter, she offered to mend my computer and inadvertently emailed to everybody in my address book a picture of my big toe.
So there we have it. Miranda's failed footballer, Lee's cropped classmate, or Nick's accidental emailer. David?
So, Miranda, what was the professional football team you tried out for?
It was for QPR Rangers. No, QPR.
QPR. So, what age were you?
About sort of early 20s.
Early 20s. So, isn't that quite old to be breaking into professional football?
You haven't seen QPR play, have you?
What position did you play?
Well, we were just sort of tipping up. And seeing.
So just seeing...
Can you imagine if this is what she'd have done on the day?
A lot of happy memories of your footballing past, obviously.
You'd be very good at the team talk.
Yeah.
We were just hoping that they'd see us and say, oh, you're a defender.
So you...
I don't know why I'm finding this so funny.
So had you, when you turned up to try out, had you ever played football before? You thought if football's probably not a thing that involves practice. You've either got it or you haven't. I'll wait until I'm 23. I'll turn up at QPR and they'll probably let me in the team, and there I am, sorted. That's what
well,
you
we
thought.
played a bit at university. I'm actually crying now.
As you had played?
We played a bit at university, sort of mucked about, and we thought, hey, you know, we're quite good.
Just you and Zazie playing, or were there other people in this team?
We had some male friends who were, like, really into football, and we lived with them. And we, one day, probably, you know, trying to impress, said, we'll come and play football with you. And so
they were thrilled.
So you went...
And they said, hey, you've got some skills in it.
OK. So, Nick, what went wrong with your computer? What was...
Running slow. Grindingly slow.
And why didn't you contact someone, you know, a proper computer person?
No,
or maybe she is a proper computer person who happens to be your neighbour's daughter.
Very simply, because we know them very well. I know that she did a computer course at university, and why would I go out and spend a fortune when Zazie can come in for a tenner?
And why was there a picture of your big toe on this computer?
No, one of the issues was it obviously was clogged up with stuff, and I needed it purged. And I told her that there were various folders that needed to go. My medical folder had to be deleted. A number of other folders I had to get rid of. My doctor is in London. We live in the country. I had had a very, very nasty accident. Stubbed my toe. Heavy bruising. The threat of a lost nail. And I thought that I would email it to the doctor, and he would then email back advice. Anyway, that was some time ago, and I wanted it now deleted. And, of course, she wasn't quite as good at her computing skills as I had hoped she was, or indeed that she had claimed.
You are terrifying.
No. I don't like to say this in front of her, but she had been drinking. And she pressed the email thing, and 700 people, including business contacts, serious people, were emailed a picture of this battered toe. And
Including Sir Alan Sugar?
Yes.
He was the
He
first.
received a picture of your toe.
He sent one back of his.
It was actually quite a bruising experience because people didn't find it at all funny.
Lee,
Yes.
you pronounce Zazzie's name Zazie.
That's the kind of guy I am. I'm a maverick.
And you were at school with Zazie?
Well, I was, yes. And before it's pointed out, I was in a different year, yes.
OK. How much older?
I think there was about 4 years difference.
Right.
But you cut off Zazie's
Can I
ponytail.
just point out, we weren't actually at the same school. I should get that in, really. We were on we call it the school bus. It wasn't a school bus that was only for school children. It was the bus I got to school.
So you went,
It was a public bus, and she was a child who didn't know on the bus.
Starts to sound like a court case, David. Can you back off?
And you attacked her head with a sharp object.
I didn't attack her. I did not attack a child.
But you mistook a child's head for the head of one of your friends.
Yeah, I was about 15. She was, I don't know what she was, but she looked
3.
She looked like...
Why did you want to cut off Paul's ponytail?
Well, Paul's ponytail I've always found a little bit annoying. I mean, let's face it, have you ever seen a ponytail on a man and not wanted to cut it off?
It's still a bit of a step to actually have a go, isn't it? Because after all, it's up to people how they have their hair. It's not up to you, is it, Lee?
Trust me, David, if it was up to me, you wouldn't be having your hair like that.
Yeah. Likewise.
Thank you.
Was Paul somewhere else on the bus?
Yes, Paul sat next to me and he went, hey, go over there and cut my hair off. And I felt, what are you doing? It's quite... All right, Paul, stay there, I'll do it now.
So
I was a gullible fool.
This is an environment in which you don't know Paul's on the bus at all.
No. Paul, I
you
don't
just see the back of a little girl and go, there's Paul! Where are my scissors? I thought you might know Paul was somewhere on the bus, and then you see the ponytail, and you've only got a moment, quick snip. You don't even know Paul's there. You're just seeing ponytails and snipping away, despite the fact that Paul is apparently wearing a little dress.
So David, what are you thinking here?
I'm slightly inclined to believe Lee. What do you think about Miranda's story about the football trial? That very much came to life, didn't it?
You certainly seem to know a lot about football, so I was impressed with that. I think it might be Nick and his suppurating toe.
Emailing of the toe. And what about you, Jack?
I reckon it's Nick.
And what about you, David?
Well, I don't know. I'm stuck. Okay. But my two teammates agree, so I'm happy to go along with that.
You're saying that it's Nick. And it's the toe and it's the email.
Yeah.
Zazie, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Zazie, and Miranda and I once tried out for a professional football team.
Yes, Zazie did try out for a ladies' professional football team with Miranda. Thank you very much, Zazie.
Right. I always test the temperature of my bath with my ear.
There we are, Lee.
What's wrong with the conventional elbow?
Well, 2 things, Hugh. Firstly, it amuses me to test it with my ear. And secondly, I'm a big fan of the bath and I like to get it right, and I think it's more sensitive. I sometimes test food, the heat of food, by my ear as well.
Could you mime the process of how you put your ear in the bath?
No, it's simply a question of kneeling at the bath, and I have quite high baths.
How high from the top would you say the water goes?
Well, probably about that much.
Right, so you're kneeling down. Kneeling down, and then
you can bend away all the way over to get your ear in the bath without...
Look, I'm quite tall, and I just get there quite irrelevant.
Bendy as well.
I'm bendy. Hi.
Can I just
I'm
add
tall
some,
and bendy.
add some credibility?
This is when you put my mobile number at the bottom of the screen.
So, I'm guessing, like most normal people, you like a little bit of bubble bath and stuff. So you're basically leaning over, you're going in headfirst through the bubble bath. You're going through it, wait, and then suddenly you've hit it. Oops, it's a bit hot. You've come up. Your face is full of suds, yeah? And you go, well, I'll add a bit more coal to that, and then you sit there and wait with your frothy face. Is that what we're expected to believe?
Lee, do you usually have a bubble bath? I didn't have you down as a bubble bath type.
To be fair, David, you probably didn't have me down as a bath type.
I can tell you that he's got an open fire in his bathroom.
Yes.
Really?
And sometimes Miranda will come round and I'll say to Miranda, I'm not sure if that fire's too hot. And she will...
Do you have one ear that's more sensitive than the other? Is it the left, right, always the left, right, always the right?
Always has to be the left because of where the bath is.
Are you right-handed?
Yes.
That'll make sense, you see.
Do you face away from the tap?
I'm left-handed, and I would go in with the right ear, you see.
I'm right-handed, but I would go with my right ear because of the way my bathroom is. To go with my left ear, I'd have to be turning my back to the taps when I did it, and I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. I want to be able to see that, because ultimately the taps are responsible for the temperature, so I want to be able to look them in the eye while I judge what they've done.
You know those taps haven't actually got eyes, that's your reflection, don't you?
Yeah, no, I know.
What are you going to say on this one, Lee? What are you thinking? Is she telling the truth?
Honestly, Lee, the physics of this are all wrong. If you're kneeling, it's your hips that you bend from. Otherwise, your whole spine would have to be able to go over at 90 degrees.
No, because it's genuinely really easy to do.
Can you just kneel down and show us roughly how it works?
It's literally... So say the bath is...
Can I be the bath?
Where's... Use the bath. Just say this is the water. That's quite low down.
That's convenient, isn't it? That perfect height.
No, but it's not.
I can adjust it. I'll be the bath. There's the water. Oh, bit of ear. Got me.
That was very well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done. OK, Lee.
What's your answer?
Do you know what? Until she did that, I didn't believe it, and now I do.
I do as well now. What do you think, Rufus?
Yeah. Still think it's a lie.
Do you? Ooh, I'll go with you and say that's true.
True. OK. Miranda, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
It was a lie.
It's a lie. Miranda does not test the temperature of her bath with her ear. Please welcome this week's special guest, Owen. So, Miranda Hart, what is Owen to you?
This is Owen, and he stopped me attending his yoga classes because I couldn't stop laughing.
Right. Lee.
This is Owen. He's a professional juggler, and he's teaching me to juggle.
Right. And Clive, how do you know Owen?
He is my builder, and in fact, he was working on my roof once and fell through it while I was watching television.
My word. All right. David, where do you want to start?
Right, Clive, what was on TV?
What was on TV? I'm afraid to say it was Richard and Judy. And this was really embarrassing. It was daytime telly. Owen I've known for quite a while. He's done a lot of building work for me, and he used to make fun of the fact that sometimes I was at home, and I would say, well, I explain I was working. And sometimes the television would go on, I have to explain, oh, well, I'm watching the television because I'm researching something.
So as he came through the scene, you shouted, there's an item on Inwit Justice coming up!
What was he doing on your roof?
My roof is a nightmare. So I've had endless time with builders on the roof, including Owen. First it was his father.
And he fell through.
No.
And his father before him, and his father before him.
He was pulling up the lead or the zinc that forms the valley gutter and was standing on the slates, and unfortunately that created a hole, and his legs came through, and then eventually, of course, brought down the whole ceiling, eventually.
OK, Lee.
Yes?
So you're looking to develop more showbiz skills?
Correct. What made you think juggling? My 4-year-old son went to a children's party and said, I saw a juggler today. I wish you could juggle, Daddy. And I looked into that little boy's eyes and I said, son... I said, son, if you want to see your old daddy juggling, you know.
So, how many lessons have you had?
Well, I look over at Rob and I see that he's got balls on his desk, and I would, thank you.
I'm not doing that one.
Oh?
Oh, 4. Well, what about the 7 clubs? Why did I do that, Rob? I've had 2 lessons.
Surely you ought to get Owen to do the juggling.
Him? He's a builder. I've only had 2 lessons, so I'm just learning the basics at the moment.
Oh, it's like that, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I admit it, I'm only throwing 2 this one in the hand. He's not a very good teacher.
I mean, basically, we've learnt absolutely nothing from that, because if Lee did know how to juggle it, he would not now be juggling as well as he could.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
So what about Miranda's claim?
What's so funny about yoga?
A couple joined our class, and they just got engaged, and they wanted to tone pre-wedding, and they were very earnest. And that's when it started going wrong, because they were what made me laugh a lot.
What was it that they did that was...
Well, the first thing was that when they did positions, they looked into each other's eyes quite earnestly, and I found that very funny.
Right.
And then another time, we were doing the sun salutations. I don't know if you're aware of yoga. And Owen said, and into downward dog, which was always amusing anyway. And the woman did the biggest fart. I would have got myself together, I think, there. But the fiancé, he said very earnestly, and there she blows.
OK, we need an answer. So David's team is Owen, Miranda's ex-yoga teacher, Lee's juggling coach, or Clive's tumbling tradesman?
I don't believe that Lee would just have juggling lessons just so he could look his son in the eye. I completely believe about Clive's roof.
Is there many male yoga teachers?
That's the other one I'm going to throw there.
It
seems a little bit of like a girl's
job. It's like the first time you've ever been out of the north.
No, it does.
Is there such thing? It's because it sounds to me like homosexuals.
Do you know what? You always do this when I'm on the show. You're from the north.
I thought I was from the north till I met you.
OK, I do need an answer, chaps.
Well, shall we go with Clive, then?
I think so.
Yeah.
So, you think that it's Clive's roofer, Owen. Would you like to reveal your true identity?
I am actually a professional juggler, and I've been teaching Lee.
Mitchell! Look at these go! Look at these babies! There's the full shower, like that. There's the big finish. Look at that.
What about the kids' side of things?
My kid genuinely went to a birthday party and came home and said, I saw a juggler, it was the best thing I've ever seen. I wish you could do juggling, Daddy.
Aww.
Oh.
That's the kind of man I am, girls. Yeah. So if anyone's up for it...
I have to say, when you hear things like that, it just adds to the mystery of why the social services took them away, doesn't it? Yes, Owen is teaching Lee to juggle.